What's up, guys? It's me, your favorite trick-or-treater, Speedy Samo7, and in like another video, probably yesterday's or the day before's video. Anyway, in my last non-rivals video, oh boy. By the way, we're revisiting Frontlines because this game's awesome. And did you all see that, or was that just for me? My whole screen went black for a millisecond. Oh, he's won. Anyway, I can't talk too much about the game because I actually... Whoa! Okay. I actually have a topic to talk about again today. So I talked about my obsession with keyboards, right? And you thought that was bad, and everybody was laughing. I could see them. I can see them already, even though the video hasn't released yet. I can see them in the comments being like, "Oh, Sam, you spent so much money. Haha, Sam, you wasted so much money. You're such an idiot." Yeah, you thought I was stupid then? Just you wait. Just you wait. You'll think I'm twice as stupid by the end of this video. So anyway, I'm going to be talking about my obsession with headphones and other audio devices, and why you should never ever buy anything other than the Apple EarPods. Not the AirPods, the wired ones, the really, really cheap wired ones. Because those are just the peak of audio engineering, and nothing will ever be better than them. Also, could I maybe get some kills in this game? That would be really cool. Okay, so let's start. How far back does this story start? Oh, man. Let me take you back to like 5 years ago when, where is he going? When I hear about a little company called Raycon, and up until this point, actually, no. This story starts 10 years ago. I was wrong. This story does actually start 10 years ago. When I got, for my birthday, a pair of Beats Solo 3. Now, this was, I believe, before Beats had been bought by Apple. And so they were like just some pretty good, decent headphones, right? And I listened to them a lot. I listened to them so much, in fact, that they're falling apart. And is there anybody in this lobby? No, there is not. Cool. Very cool. Anyway, so let's see here. So anyway, I have these Beats, right? And they're pretty good, and I use them, and I don't think much of it. And then I hear about this little company called Raycon through sponsorships on YouTube, and I buy a pair. Bro, can I just stop spawn dying, please? So I buy a pair of Raycons for my birthday again. I'm like, Mom, please, I gotta get them for my birthday, Mom. You don't understand. They sound just as good as premium quality headphones at half the price. Please, Mom, I need it. Anyway. So I go ahead and I get those, and I use them for like another year or so, and I don't really think much of it, and they're okay. And then I get, bro, please, can I get some kills? Please, I can't hear these guys. All right, so I get a pair of Raycons, and then I'm like, yeah, these are okay. Don't really think much of them, right? And then I get a pair of AirPods, of genuine Apple AirPods, and this, I believe, kickstarted this whole debacle of realizing, because it was the first pair of headphones where I put them on, I was like, whoa, wait, I can hear stuff that I couldn't hear before. And then I was like, oh no, how much else am I missing out on? I gotta get the best headphones in the world right now. I don't want to miss any parts of my music. So that's what I set out to do, is I set out to get the best headphones money can buy. Spoiler alert, those are like $50,000. I don't know why, but headphones are so expensive. They're like 10 times more expensive. Wow, we got demolished. 10 times more expensive than keyboards could ever be. So I get these AirPods, and I'm like, wait. So I start doing some research on like why they sound better and stuff. And then I made the biggest mistake of my life. Okay, not actually. I keep saying that. But then I made a big mistake. Is I went to Reddit. No, okay, well, that is a mistake. But, like, I went to a specific Reddit for what are called IEMs. And if you're into headphones at all, you're probably saying, oh boy, at this point. Because IEMs are a whole rabbit hole. Actually, they're more of like a sinkhole because they just envelop you and don't let you out. They just sink their teeth right into your, like, okay, I'm not going to get too graphic here, but like, basically, once you find out about IEMs, you never forget, and you will never be satisfied until you have the best IEMs. If you don't know, IEMs are wired headphones on crack. Okay, actually, I don't know if I can say that. YouTube, I'm talking about they're cracked, like they're really good, okay? Please, I'm not referencing anything I shouldn't in my video, please. Okay, basically, They're really souped up wired headphones, okay? They're very good, and they have in them these things called drivers. Now, let me give you a little headphone lore here. Most headphones have one driver. It's called a single, like a DD, a dynamic driver or whatever, right? And it vibrates, and that's how you hear sound, right? It gets an electrical charge applied to it, and then that's how you hear sound. Anyway, it vibrates, and that's creates frequencies that make it sound like whatever you're listening to, right? And so that's all well and good, but then some very smart people were like, well, if one driver is good, what if we put in two drivers and we make them work together, and then it'll sound twice as good? And then that kind of opened up this whole rabbit hole of like, okay, well, what if we make a really specific driver designed for frequencies between 15,000 kilohertz and 20,000 kilohertz, and that's all that driver plays. And then we put in another driver, and it plays the mid-range. And then we put in another driver, and it plays the low end, right? And then it evolved. And so anyway, I bought IEMs is basically what I'm trying to say. And I don't really want to make anybody else waste their money, so I'm not going to mention which one specifically I bought, because then I just know someone will be like, oh, Speedy Sam uses these ones? Okay, I gotta go buy those ones now. I want to be like Speedy Sam. If you want to be like me, first of all, don't, because I'm dumb, but second, be smart and just use the Apple wired ones. It comes full circle, you'll see at the end, but those are my recommendation, is the $20 ones on Amazon. What the? No way I died of that, bro. Anyway, so I buy these IEMs for like $50 on Amazon. And I'm like, okay, these are pretty cool. They're pretty good. And they sound really good. They sounded better than anything I'd heard in my life. And then I realized, wait, what's that? Like, if I listen closely, like I can hear like a faint hissing in my headphones. And I know it's in my headphones because I don't hear it when I take them off, right? And so I listen really, I don't even know what I was thinking there. I got to put a sight on my gun, by the way. So that's what I do, is I listen and I'm like, wait a second. Why do I hear like a little like hissing? And so I've realized that it's interference because I'm plugging my headphones into like a not optimal like port, basically. They're plugged into, anyway, the mic I have has a port for headphones on the bottom, so you can record your voice and play sound back through the microphone on one device. And when I bought it, I was like, wow, this is super convenient. Turns out the port on the microphone for headphones kind of sucks. And it has a lot of interference. It doesn't have a very good DAC. Holy voice. It doesn't have a very good DAC, which is a digital analog converter. Oh, man, I have to explain this rabbit hole. Okay, so what a DAC does, if you think about sound, it's a wave. Now, if you haven't taken Algebra 2 or even Algebra yet, you probably don't know what a wave looks like. But basically, like, imagine, like, on a graph, a line that goes up and down, up and down, up and down, right? In, like, a sound wave, right? Like a frequency. That's what sound looks like. Computers don't do that. Computers do ones and zeros. Computers don't know what a wave is. So, computers will output ones and zeros into the DAC. And it's the DAC's job, the digital analog converter. If you're smart, you'll see where I'm going with this. To convert the digital signal, the ones and zeros, to the analog signal, the graph. Why is there only one other guy in this lobby? Okay, I'll be back when I find a better lobby. Okay, now that we're in an actually populated lobby, where was I? Oh yes, I was explaining how DACs work. So anyway, it outputs an analog signal into your headphones. And then your headphones, you know, use that sound and they play it back. It's all very complicated. I'm not going to pretend I know how it works because I'm not really that smart. But basically, I realized, okay, I need to buy a DAC. So I do a bunch of research on what DAC is the best for my headphones, which one sounds the best, which one, you know, is the best. And it turns out there is no best one, and the whole, like, sound community is constantly fighting about which one is the best. So anyway, it turns out some will provide different, like, sound, like, flavors, you could say. Some sound warmer, some sound, like, sharper, some sound colder, some sound neutral, and I'm like, okay, I don't want to get complicated. I just give me a good neutral one. So I buy for $100 on Amazon a DAC that's supposed to be neutral, and it's great. It is fantastic. I still use it. Again, I'm not going to mention the brand, but it's very good. It's what I plug my headphones into now. It has a cable that goes to my PC, and then it plugs into my headphones, and, you know, it provides really good sound. And so, at this point, I'm like, okay, well, one pair of IEMs is good. What if I got a second one? And that was the second biggest mistake of my... Okay, I gotta stop saying that, but it was another big mistake. And so, anyway, I got a second pair of IEMs, right? Because I'm like, well, you know, these ones are good, but what about some that sound different? And so I get the ones that sound different, and these ones, oh boy, they are fancy. They have 4 drivers. They have, I don't even know what the specific layout is, but they have a specific driver for the low range, a specific driver for the very high range, and 2 like mid-range drivers. And I mean, they sound incredible. I'm not gonna say how much they were because I'm quite frankly embarrassed by it, but they were a lot. And anyway, so I got these, and I'm listening to all my favorite songs again, and I'm just like, whoa, they sound so good. It was honestly, it kind of like changed my perspective on music, I'm not gonna lie, because for the first time in a long time, I just sat down, put on headphones, and did nothing but listen to music and pay attention to the closest details of the music. Now, do you need expensive headphones to do this? Absolutely not. You can do it with anything that plays sound. You can do it with your phone speaker. Any way you enjoy music is like a good way to enjoy music. You don't need expensive stuff to enjoy music, or you don't need expensive stuff to enjoy anything. And I'll get into that more at the end of the video. But basically, I've got these new headphones. I'm like, wow, these are really good. And I plug them in my DAC, and it's just fantastic. And then a couple months go by, and I find myself slowly, holy aim, slowly using my expensive headphones less and less, because they're kind of fragile, right? They're expensive. I don't want to, you know, take them to school and lose them or break them or whatever, right? So I want to keep them safe. So I only ever use them in very specific circumstances, like when I'm at home, when I'm just trying to play a game or listen to music, right? And so I end up using them like the least out of all the headphones I have. I end up using them the least because they're so expensive and I don't want to break them. And then I realize, wait a second, which headphones are the ones I use the most? And spoiler alert, callback to the start of the video, it's the $10 Apple ones. Man, I put those things through my washing machine one time in my pocket, and they came out and they worked. They worked after going through the washing machine. Those things are indestructible. So those are the ones I use at school. Those are the ones I use like 90% of the time at home because they're so comfortable. They're the ones I use. I didn't realize that was an enemy. Those are the ones I use 90% of the time. And I feel kind of stupid now because I spent all this money, and the headphones I like the most are ones that technically are the most inferior to everything else. And anyway, in my opinion, they sound just fine. For, you know, light gaming. Obviously, if you're trying to like make a song or something, or, you know, actually do really high fidelity work with music, then yeah, you should probably get a better pair of headphones than, you know, Apple ones. But for 90% of the population, they are just fine. They play music. They're binaural, which, or I don't know about binaural. What's the word where it plays in both your ears? I don't know what it is. Anyway, they're whatever. Screw it. I don't have to know the word. But basically. Oh, it's stereo. Stereo is the word. What the heck is binaural? What does that mean? Okay, I don't know. Anyway, so there's stereo, which means it plays like sounds in, you know, anyway, you get like 3D sound in your ears basically. So you can hear somebody's to your left, to your right, up, down, right, and it helps in shooter games a little bit. And so I like the Apple ones the most out of anything I've bought for headphones. And yes, I still use the DAC, but the DAC doesn't even really do anything for the Apple ones. It would sound just fine being plugged into anything, which is because, you know, they're not fancy. They're just like, yeah, man, give me power, I'll play sound. And then my fancy ones are like, actually, I need a frequency response of this, and if you don't provide this number of ohms, I'm gonna sound weird. It's like they're picky. The more expensive ones are posh and picky. So yeah, that's the story of how I spent way too much money on headphones, and I now have a phobia of spending money. Like, genuinely, I'm scared of spending money because I'm worried that I will... Why is Canyon so many here? I'm worried that I will get into another one of these rabbit holes again and just spend way too much money on stuff that I do not need. So, if you are now thinking, oh, I should look into headphones, I should get better headphones, don't. Please. Learn from my mistakes. What you have now is fine. If it breaks, replace it. Otherwise, you don't need any more. Please learn from my mistakes. Anyway, guys, that's going to be all from me. As always, if you have a game you'd like me to play, a loadout you want me to use, you want to just leave a comment, go for it. Because I still read all my comments, by the way. That hasn't changed. Some people, they really change when they get popular. Not me. I'm going to stay the exact same all the way till 3.4 trillion subscribers. I will be the exact same guy making the exact same content. I promise. Anyway, that's all from me.